Welcome to the Quality Education Inspections QEI. QEI is an independent education inspections provider. We specialize in education oversight inspections using a team of qualified education inspectors who are education practitioners, education consultants, and qualified quality assurance experts from different backgrounds. Our work involves our team visiting each institution up to a period of 3 days, depending on the size and complexity of the institutions. Each inspection involves one lead inspector who oversees the overall inspection process, and this person is supported by up to 3 team inspectors, again, depending on the size and complexity of the visiting institution. During the visit, our team collects series of data from the institution to inform their judgment, which might include premises and facilities assessment, lesson observations, including interviewing staff and students, and documentary evidence, which might involve reviewing policies and quality framework of the institution. Our work is organized around core areas such as the quality of curriculum, teaching and students' achievement, key resources, i.e., teaching and learning aids, student welfare, including health and safety, and the effectiveness of governance, leadership, and management. On the final day of the inspection, QEI team will present to the management team of the visiting institution an oral feedback of their findings. The purpose of the oral feedback is to allow the management of the visiting institution to correct any material misstatement which is likely to impact on the final report. Within 14 days after the inspection, QUI will send to the visiting institution our final report for accuracy check. At this stage, the purpose is to check for accuracy. For example, students' numbers being stated wrongly or the institution's name being spelled wrongly. No material changes will be made at this stage of the inspection process or the report. 7 days after the accuracy check, QUI will publish our findings, that's the final report, on our website. And our report is organized around 4-point grading scale from 1 to 4. In coming to grading decisions, inspection teams ensure that their judgments are first, valid in that they are supported by evidence gathered by the inspectors, are comprehensive in that they are based on all aspects of the institution. They cover all aspects of the institution and not just certain aspects. The report judgment is cooperative in that the conclusions about the institution as a whole reflects the collective views of the inspection team. It's consistent in that the evaluations from inspection evidence do not contradict with each other. They are reliable in that they are based on consistent application of the evaluative criteria. And finally, that the judgments are objective in that the institution as a whole is fully and fairly judged, that any qualified inspectors using the same benchmarks will report on the same outcome. QUI's 4-point grading scales indicates that institution can achieve grade 1, 2, 3, or 4. Institution achieving grade 1, institution we believe exceeds expectation. In other words, an excellent provider. The report will indicate that the institution's quality provision is excellent across the board. Institution achieving grade 2 is institution that is good provider. In other words, institution meeting all expectations. The report will indicate quality is never less than satisfactory and is often good. In other words, all key standards and most other standards have been met by this institution. Institution which achieves grade 3 is institution that is below standard, which we describe as the one that needs improvement. The findings from the report for such institution will suggest that quality is satisfactory in most respects, but has some elements that are not acceptable. In which case, at least 3 key standards have to be met for an institution to be described as being below standard. And the final grade which an institution can achieve is grade 4, which is unsatisfactory, or in other words, a poor institution or a poor provider. Institution achieving grade 4, institution which our report will suggest that there are significant number of elements that are unsatisfactory or simply are serious in nature. No more than 3 standards are being met, and this might include, for example, falsifying students' results, serious evidence of corrupt practices, which QEI might believe is undermining quality of provisions. Now come to the question of what are the benefits of the Quality Education Inspections report, or our report in general. One fundamental thing we all agree though is that more than ever before, countries are rigorously competing against one another within the competitive global market. And a particular country's ability to maintain its position or a better position in this competitive global market is based on the quality of its human capital. And it is fair to say at this stage that the quality of a country's human capital is directly correlated with the quality of its educational standards or provision. It is therefore imperative that educational standards are monitored to ensure that educational providers operate within the remits of the standard set by the country's educational authorities. Apart from the global benefit or the national benefit to the country, there are other benefits to the visiting institution in particular. For example, the inspection process will promote and improve awareness of faith within the private sector among learners and key stakeholders. In addition, the inspection will encourage both reactive and proactive improvement in the quality of education provided by institutions in the country within the PFE sector. Furthermore, the inspection will help to standardize teaching, enable benchmarking and comparison in improving the quality of teaching and learning across the board. Again, in the long term, having an independent oversight education inspections provider will ensure that the better providers grow market share at the expense of the poor providers, and the overall quality of education within the private further education sector will improve subsequently as a result of market forces. And finally, our report script and associated rating scale will aid students, parents, guardians, employers, and other key stakeholders make an informed decisions as to which private institution provider they should deal with. For example, a parent might decide, I'm not taking my child to an institution that is below standard or an institution which is described as unsatisfactory. Our mission is simple here at QEI. We are here to safeguard education quality standards, work with relevant authorities to improve the quality of the education overall in the country, and to help the country equip to meet local needs and emerging global challenges. In this regard, QEI is here to work with all key stakeholders, and particularly to support education providers within the private further education sector to improve their standard of education provision within the country. Thank you.